third stage of a negligence inquiry is causation. It must be shown that the defendant's actions caused the harm. The standard test for causation is but for. However, there are 6 major exceptions. Where there are multiple defendants, only one of which could have caused the injury, the burden of proof switches from claimant to defendant, meaning potentially all defendants could be held liable. Where it would be unfairly onerous to place the burden of proof on the claimant, it will instead be up to the defendant to show that the injury had some other cause. Where defendants have exposed the claimant to risk of injury, their liability is in proportion to their degree of fault. In medical cases where the victim loses more than 50% of a chance of recovery, they may receive compensation for loss of chance. However, this exception is challenged by the court in Hotson, which says it will reduce compensation for injury. If the claimant's initial injury is supervened by a later injury, the Baker-Jobling exception applies, where the defendant may be liable for the subsequent damage, as well if it is regarded by the courts as one continuing act. Finally, where statistical evidence is used to establish causation, the courts ruled defendants would only be liable where they more than doubled the likelihood of the claimant being injured. Another part of the causal inquiry is that the damage must be actionable. What amounts to actionable damage will be discussed in its own video. However, one brief point must be made. In Rothwell, it was found that pleural plaques were not actionable damage, and therefore the anxiety arising from them couldn't be either, even though psychiatric injury is generally actionable, despite it fulfilling the but-for test. This shows causation and actionable damage working in tandem with one another. Another consideration is that the damage cannot be too remote, meaning the injury must be a foreseeable consequence of the defendant's actions. Under Wagenmount, only the type of harm need be foreseeable, not the extent of it. This extends to the thin skull rule, as can be seen in Smith, where the claimant suffered a burn to his lip which caused cancer leading to death. As the burn was foreseeable, the resulting death was found not to be too remote.